Hello everyone. I'm here today to bring you a Chinese builder that aims for 2 TCs. Straight away we're in a game against the AI so that we have controlled conditions and we start right off. So first of all, very importantly, in the start of the game you don't want to kill your sheep next to your TC because you will want to start off with an Imperial official straight away so that you can boost the production of your food. You need a mill because you can't boost your TC. So you build a mill and herd the sheep there and immediately boost your TC like this. And you scout around for some sheep, so to secure your food supply. This build will center somewhat around the Imperial official. It's very versatile in its application, that's why you need to get it out early. You will first use it to boost food, then wood, and later the production of archers, which will save us significant wood and help us to make our 2 TC build safe against early aggression. So you can build this house, the second house, anywhere so that you just don't get supply blocked. I like to do it with the first villager, and then you rally 2 to 3 villagers onto wood. If you want to age up earlier, like I do here, you can send your third villager to gold already and only leave 2 on wood. If you're feeling a bit more defensive, you can get a third on wood. That will allow you to get a tower out earlier, especially if your resources are exposed, like here where the gold is very far away from your town center. That might be wise to get an early tower there, especially if you're playing against the French, so that you can hide your villagers in it in case an early knight comes along to bully them. Just scout around, get some sheep back home. This is the priority in the early game, and find your first deer camp, preferably one that is close to your TC like here, and start herding them together because we'll want to build our Barbican of the Sun next to the deer camp and mill there so that we can use it for a nice little boost in our food supply and so that it's kept safe by the extremely powerful Barbican of the Sun, and so we don't have to construct an extra tower there. Alright, you can herd them together like this. In the meantime, you get 2 on gold, 2 on wood, and then you get 8 on food to get that quick next age going. You will want the Barbican before any early aggression can hit you, otherwise you'll be in a lot of trouble. See, like this, you herd them all together, and then you bring your sheep back. Probably at this point you would want to send your scout across the map against the player so that you can see what he's up to. Okay, of course against the AI this is not really necessary. And here I'm having trouble selecting a sheep in the bulk of villagers. Happens. And you bring them back. Alright, so now you're looking very good on food. Your 9th villager can already move out into the location of your deer and either construct a mill there or immediately start with the Barbican of the Sun, depending on how your resources work out. And since you see we already have 100 wood saved up, we can also place down our lumber mill, which we will want to boost with our Imperial official. Think about the placement of your mill here and in relation to the Barbican of the Sun. Personally, I like to get them all clumped together so that if a knight comes along, you can garrison your villagers immediately and they don't have a long way to walk, and there is less there's less chance for you to mess it up and then they catch a villager anyway and then you're already behind, that kind of situation. So after you have the food and gold for the age up, you send 4 people over, or even 6, so you can power build the Barbican with 2 and 4 go onto the venison. That will be enough for continuous worker production. In the meantime, your Imperial official goes to boost the wood, and you will want to start on stone as soon as you can. Don't forget to build a house in time. You can use the people from the gold for the stone. I will do so in a moment. You can switch instantaneously. You don't really need the gold. I mind a little bit too much gold here. And I usually go with 5 on the stone because the stone is usually exposed. You want to mine it quickly unless you will get a tower there for the defense. They're always a little bit exposed, and since you will mostly be facing French, that knight can be really annoying, and if you are interrupted before you get 300 stone, that is really annoying because it will prevent you from getting your second TC. Here I even get the tower now to kind of simulate if you were facing early aggression, the stone is exposed, it's facing your opponent. So having a tower there will not only give you the opportunity to garrison your 5 villagers working on the stone, but it will also give you a nice heads up. It will give you vision, and so you will know when your opponent is coming to harass you. Everyone else goes on wood. You don't really need 6 on food right here. 4 or 5 would be enough to just get enough food to get those villagers out. And then you're aiming to get that 400 wood, 300 stone. Keep in mind that every tower you build is gonna throw you a little bit behind in terms of wood. And it will delay your town center a little bit. But generally I would say it's okay to get 1 tower. The second tower is a little bit defensive. But if you're feeling scared, or if you're not too good at dealing with harass, if you don't feel comfortable with that, I think it's better to get the second tower and be safe, and then just get the town center safely. Especially like here, where the gold is very exposed to the north. If you wanted to go there later, the knights could harass you hard, and if you don't already have a tower in place, they can stop you from building one, which can be very annoying. So you see, we're coming up on the resources we need. We even have 100 wood to spare here, because the build-up went pretty well. And so what I usually do here now is either take the 5 from the stone directly to build a TC, if I want to build a TC in a location close to the stone, or I send the 5 people from the stone on the wood, and the 5 people from the take 5 people from the wood and put them onto the TC. So here we now have our resources. I want to make a little triangle with the Barbican of the Sun, my second TC, my first TC, connecting the 3, making a little bit of a perimeter. This is of course a little bit exposed. In an MP match you will need to think about where to place your second TC, as in what do I do if he attacks me, and it's gonna be very rough. Once you place down your second TC, you will want to move 5 workers from the wood to the food, because that will allow for continuous worker production from 2 TCs. And here really comes the strength of the Imperial official in the early game here, because you can switch it around back onto the food to boost your food, and now you will want to get a second or maybe even third Imperial official as soon as you can afford it in terms of food, because you will want to boost your archery range. The true strength of this 2TC build comes from the archery range being boosted, because the Imperial official gives a 200% production boost. So effectively we can use our archery range as if it were 3 archery ranges and produce 12 archers a minute out of it, as long as we have resources. So that will save us 300 wood here in the early game that we would otherwise be spending on production buildings. That can help us in multiple ways. On the one hand, we can spend the wood on additional archers, but it also allows us to switch workers off the wood earlier, get more food going, so that we can get out a bigger army, have a smoother transition, don't run out of food. And you can switch your Imperial officials back and forth between the production building that you want to boost. Against the French, I recommend also getting a barracks, so that you can build some spearmen against the knights. And this is really flexible, it's really strong. The Imperial official, for example, here is boosting the wood. You can basically boost whatever resource you're running a bit short of. You know, if you mess up your macro a little bit, your resource balance, it happens to all of us. You just boost that building, it will give you 20% more output on it. That is a very strong modifier. And once you start producing an army, you switch the Imperial official on it, and it will build that archery range will build out an army in no time at all. You can of course also skip out on the army if you scout your opponent going for a macro-oriented build as well that will not pressure you. You can save those resources and go for an earlier Song dynasty, which would be the next thing we aim for, so that our workers produce quicker and we can get an economically that way. It will also allow you to get housing cheaper because of the village, the special building from the Song dynasty. In this game, I am going to make some archers, since most of the time you'll face some sort of aggression or another, or you can use your archers to harass your opponent if he is going very greedy. Yeah, so the Imperial official really makes this build strong. It helps you boost your output from here on out. You can boost the different production buildings to use them as if they were multiples of themselves, or just produce or just get more raw resources. You can switch more and more people onto the food now, since you saved so much on wood. I go up to 20. So to get enough food for the Song dynasty, continual worker production, and getting out an army. You can see we're now approaching minute 10. We have a sizable archer army out. We're about to go Song dynasty, and from here you can really do what you want. You can take the game where you want. You can go for a quick castle age, go for the strong Chinese late game. You can get extra production buildings and a blacksmith to make a ram push, and yeah, it's really up to you. I hope this build order was useful for you. If you did find it useful, why don't you like, comment and subscribe? If you didn't like it, Why don't you tell me about it in the comments and I can tell you off, eh? Good luck in the games, boys. See you next time.